All right. Today is a good day, but it might also be a trap soon for the Bitcoin bulls. I know that I'm just going to jump right into it. Let me put this on bigger scale. And damn, I got way too much stuff going on here. Hold on, people. All right. So I want to just start with I've been building a new layout, a chart layout. Um, It's not complete, but I'm going to showcase it today. It's a little bit of a chart. Of course, it has cycles and everything, but I am using this to see if I can spot lows because it's nice to have the MACD already telling me that. So, for those of you that are new, the MACD on the 3-day can literally tell you the tops and the bottoms. And here we go, just so that you can see. On March 20th, the 3-day MACD signaled the top, got you out at around 59,000 and change. And you see right there the MACD here at the bottom kept you out this entire time all the way till you got to July 18 at the bottom of the cycles, right? And then you rallied up. You had the little trough right here where these cycles were pulling, but with the EMA ribbon indicator, you knew that it wasn't going to switch. So you basically, this was a buy the dip moment, and you rally up, and then you peak out at again at the bigger cycle. And this is in November 15, you get the confirmation on the 3-day to move out or exit your position, I should say. And then the MACD 3-day kept you out, so you avoided this whole carnage, all of it. You avoid everything up until this point. Around February 3rd, it tells you to get back in, and then that was the bear flag. It kept you in an uptrend, but unfortunately, the flag failed, so it got you out at April 16. Now, April 16 up until today, which is right here, this line, April 16 was right above the 200-day moving average. So it kept you out of trouble. But then once the signal kicked in that it was going to collapse, um, you basically knew that you could, one, sell your position if you had very little, or go short to profit. I was one of the ones that went short to profit, and I got out around this area, like the maybe the 23rd or 24th, if you will. So I did miss out on this crash by shorting it, but I shorted it from up here, so I'm not complaining. I made some money, but I did miss out on this one because I was following the 2-day chart and the 3-day chart. So I'm going to elaborate on that today before I dive into the new system that I've been building, which I think everybody will find it very cool. So again, actually, let me go back to the 3-day and explain a couple things on that. So this strategy that where I use the MACD makes things very, very simple, that where you don't have to be sitting in front of your computer all day long watching the crypto market, specifically Bitcoin. This strategy is best for all the blue collar workers out there, office workers, McDonald workers, Walmart, Target, anyone in retail, anyone in hospitality. This strategy is a very simple one. You don't need to follow any YouTubers. You don't need to do anything special. You just need your MACD set up on the 3-day and on the 2-day, and then that alone can help you. Of course, it'd be useful if you get the pivot point tools, and I talk about that indicator, and maybe the 50-day moving average, which is the blue line you see here, and the red line, which is the 200-day moving average. So once you get that stuff on your chart, then you can easily begin to see big moves without having to worry about day to day. So let's see on the 2-day, and I cover this almost in every video, but it's worth bringing it up almost every time to make sure people understand, like, bury this shit in your head why it's so important. So the 2-day, you see all this noise, cross down, cross up, cross down, cross up. I don't like that. Notice that on the 3-day, you get a much smoother, cleaner move when you get this. It didn't cross, it just went there. This cross right here. However, if you're using the EMA ribbon, which is the one that gives you the short and the long and the short, and hasn't signaled anything yet. That would have helped you in this situation right here. But when you got to this point on March 20th, this was a signal on the 3 day that we weren't going to continue. And so if you had cycles, and I've mentioned this before, I use roughly 40 indicators. That also helps. Now, if you use Elliott wave indicator, you would have known, you would have peaked out at April 13. But April 13 was, I believe, 65K or something like that. So really, when the MACD on the 3 day got you out at 59, you really only missed out 5K. So it's, again, not a big deal. And I've said it before, what you want to capture is 80% of the move. So for example, right here, I should have marked this as well on other videos. Where is the, right there? Right around here. In fact, we have the cycle bottoms right here. Let me full screen this just so you can see. Notice here, without knowing anything else on the crypto market, October 12th, 2020, that was the point. And you said, well, what about all these? Yeah, well, that's why you have cycles. If you just use this, that would have been cool. But if you have indicators and cycles, that would have helped you. The beauty of this is if you just captured this whole part right here, it's like 80% of the move, you would have gone right around. Let me just put this right here, roughly there. And actually, that's it. So if I measure this like around, let me go so it fits. Let me minimize that now that I got the lines at least. Right. So if I measured just using the MACD, and I'm going to just take a guess around here and around here, look at the percentage. You would have made 247% in 96 days. So it goes back. You want to use the MACD on the 3 day to capture the large moves so that you don't have to listen to the day-to-day shit. You don't need to listen to YouTubers. You don't need to worry about what happens in the market. Just tracking those two things alone and nothing else, you would have been fine. See, and I was being generous. I started like at the line, but really you could have started a little bit later. And that's on the 3 day. If you would have done, again, the 2 day helps you spot the moves as they're about to occur. So for example, here, this move right here, this is amazing. Look, if you would have just gotten here, not at the exact top, but right here, and then got out right before, that means even at this point right here, you would have avoided this whole carnage all the way down to like 30. I want to say like this right here was 29,000. So you would have dodged all 80% of this shit. And so that's why I say this strategy is very simple. It's really for the blue collar worker that doesn't want to be dealing with all the noise. Of course, I add my cycles, and I would encourage people to use indicators. I use roughly 40. Actually, at this point, I'm at 45 now. I'm always trying to find strategy. So that's the simple, basic approach. So that means where are we in today's strategy using this simple approach? So we are basically on the verge of hitting the V shape. You see right here? Let me really force it. All right, so I'm stretching out the MACD. So this is the V shape we want so that we know we're in a clear uptrend. We're about to get it. And so that means there's still wiggle room to drop and move around a little bit, but we're on our way. Now, this goes back to my point. I know people want to be like, I want to capture the price at the bottom of 17K. I mean, if you're that kind of person, I've said it before, you deserve to go homeless. That you can't time it, you can kind of pinpoint it, and I've said that before. Cycles can help you, excuse me, pinpoint bottoms, but finding the absolute bottom, you got to be like glued to the computer daily, and I'll be honest, I ain't got time for that shit. Nobody. I don't. So anyways, I'll leave it at that for the MACD, and we're barely on the verge of signaling. And I've said it before that I suspect we have a little bit of a drop going into July 4th, the holiday, before we see a rally. And that's because of the way the cycles are signaling that there is a drop coming before a rally. So on the 3 day, same. The 3 day MACD has not even V shaped, and let alone cross. So you start cost averaging in when the 2 day, let me just switch it like this. So for example, I was cost averaging in from here to around there. This was my area that I was cost averaging in. I dropped roughly about $6,000 across all my coins that I like. And this is really my top five, top 10 coins. Like that's it. And so I'm gonna start doing that again. The reason I do it on the 2 day where you just cost average in is because on the 3 day, that's when you get the confirmation of the big move. So I'm gonna remove this. You see, the 3 day basically says stay out, stay out, stay out. But you can cost average in here just in case this confirms and this would have gone up. You caught partial bottom. So this is how the strategy works. And again, it's more geared towards the blue collar worker. If you have a full-time job and all that shit and you do not have the time to be staring at your computer all day long, this is the easiest strategy you can employ. You only need the MACD, the charts, the probably the pivot point tool, and that's about it. So on the 3 day, it's not time anything, but I have been working on a new system, and I think today is time to showcase it. It's nothing fancy, but it will look a lot cleaner, and I think I'm going to use that system to reference if I need to adjust my cycles, because I've said it before that I suspect that I might need to readjust some of my cycles. But when I look at the 12 hour, I'm like, maybe not. So drop in here, and it looks like there's another drop going into, like, there'll be a potential wannabe bounce, but then we'll get a drop here. But if I'm right, this drop will be significant that it might actually begin the real bear rally. So right now we're just getting the signs that we're trying to really hard to get out. And what I mean by that is the I don't have a clear pattern of a bear pattern. I don't have a bear flag here, but I also don't have a bull pattern. So right now, because I don't have a bear flag, a bearish pennant, or rising wedge, which is bearish, that's why I'm thinking like, okay, the patterns aren't really showing up. And you see right there, if I zoom in on the 12, you can see that this broke above the 10 above the 20. And I've told you all that when that happens, that's a signal that it's really trying to break out. So I'll leave everybody with that. Let's jump into the new system that I've been working on for a few days. It's only been less than a week. I'm toying around with it, but actually, let me jump into indicators. So, again, this proves my point. Indicators on this one are topping on the 12 hour. You see, except the RSI is not, but this one is. This one is topping, 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 topping. So, this tells me that what's likely going to happen, any little bounce that comes in, whatever bounce, we need to first break above the pivot point indicator 21,663. I'm not like those YouTubers that my target is this. No, I am telling you what the indicator is saying. The indicator pivot is saying you need to break above the middle point, 21,663. If that doesn't break above, I mean, if Bitcoin doesn't break above that, forget it. It will drop. But if we break above this, then our big target is 25K, because this whole area is room. But again, we have this little significant drop coming. So I would expect Bitcoin to try and fight and go down and try and fight and go down and then break at some point. And the reason I say that is because when you zoom out, let's say to the 3 day, all indicators are still bottomed. So when you zoom in, there's just a little bit of a turbulence. But when you zoom out, this is now like bottom to the point that is these are like the last few days or hours or whatever you want to call it. But we're towards the end of this mini thing. I don't know what might happen in July, but I've actually seen some people say that in July there's another big drop, and so I have something to show people here, and this is why I've been building the new system to see if I can spot that. So let's go into the new system. Okay. So in this new system, let me close this out. I'm using cycles to try and pinpoint and find bottoms here. Um, right, I got 5 minutes. So I started trying to set up cycles in a way that I can see them in comparison and mark potential bottom areas, and it seems to be working. And so this is why I'm saying, like, we are near the bottom. Even in this system, it says that we're close to the bottom. So regardless, even if we drop down to 12,000 people, when you look at the big picture of fucking, what was that? I can't even see it. 69,000 all the way to let's say 12, you're closer to the bottom than you are to the top, so that means we are near the bottom. And so this is why I understand why some technicians like Gareth Salloway are still saying 12,000. But this is why I started building a new system. I wanted to see if there's something else that tells me otherwise. And for example, this system was saying this is the low, so buying in this area, which is on a weekly, that means you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, so 2 months to prepare before this major rally. And then this indicator said it's time to sell, and it sold at the top according to the big cycle. And you see it began to pull it into the bottom areas of this neighborhood right here. And from here, again, bottoming in this area, the indicator signaled to buy. It was according, it was in accordance, or it was in line. I'll say that. I can't get too advanced tonight. It was in line with the cycles. So it began the rally. 16. Okay. And then it broke out again, and I got another sell signal. Now this is just one, like, few indicators. I'm only using 5 here, but I've said it before that I use roughly 40 scattered across the systems that I use. And so this pulling down makes sense in this area. And this is where, when, if you look at my very first video, this is what I was talking about, this area. Now it got extended just a little bit. And so this is why I'm going to zoom into this area. You see right here, this has it at July 4th before you break out. And so that's why I say we might want to be careful that going into that, there might be a drop before we see the rally. However, if the pattern is to repeat, notice the bigger cycles here tend to signal a top. Now, if history were to repeat itself, even though this is a bear rally, we should see something peaking out towards August would be my first month of target, maybe September, but I don't think so because there's a drop typically in the middle. So let me zoom in, and 18. Okay, so the reason I say that that's a maybe is because right there. So we usually go up, and then notice this right here, it's trying to pull it down. So if I were to go into a shorter time frame, you could see this right here was pulled down into this area. So let me, like this area right here was pulled into this area down here. Um, I forgot I can't cross draw, but I can cross line. Um, Vertical. So right here, let's say these cycles here were the marking the bottom area. And so look, it pulled, but then again from here it pulled back out, and then here you see it pulling back in, but it's the end of the big cycle. So then the big cycle pulled it down here. So I'm gonna delete these two. And so the idea is, just so people get it in their heads, using patterns. Got 1 minute, damn. Okay. This could break out and go in, break out, go down. And so again, if history should repeat itself, the bear rally, which is what I've been talking about, is closer than we think. We might be, if I have to put a negative future because I still see Gareth Salloway with his 12,000, then it could be somewhere July 10th going into the 15th. So midway of July is when we could see a final drop. But either way, we're very close to the end. So that would be around here. And then we begin a bear rally. So again, this system is not complete, people. I'm still working on it. But it does signal a lot of bottoms are in place. So anyways, good luck, people. Right now, the MACD on the 2-day is close to signaling to re-enter. Good luck, people.